Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my brand new Star Wars Skeleton Crew trailer breakdown. We had a bunch of new footage, a bunch of Easter eggs and connections to Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. It's set during the same time period. It's meant to be part of the Mandoverse, so I'll explain how everything is connected. If you're brand new to the channel, of course I'll do episodes for it when it releases next year. Originally, it was supposed to come at the end of this year, 2023, but then Disney basically pushed all the Marvel and Star Wars series just a little bit, so everything is just spread out more. Now this sounds like it's going to premiere in the first half of 2024. They didn't give an exact release date, so I'm assuming first half of 2024. Jon Watts was the person who created the series. He actually said that he was talking to Jon Favreau about creating it while they were filming Spider-Man No Way Home, because most of you remember him from all the Spider-Man films, and Jon Favreau plays Happy Hogan in those Spider-Man films, so naturally that's the Star Wars connection. That's how Jon Watts wound up doing a Star Wars series. This is him introducing the actual series.
Sorry we can't be there today. We're actually at ILM right now shooting the spaceships for the show with the one and only John Knoll.
I did not agree to be on camera.
Oh, John. But don't worry. Even though we can't be there, we have someone way better. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jude Law.
But as you can see, Jude Law is the main character. It's about a group of kids, though, in the Outer Rim who get swept up in a larger adventure with Jude Law's character in the tone of Stranger Things meets Stephen King's Stand By Me meets Goonies in the Star Wars universe. They also referenced a vibe a lot of the classic Steven Spielberg Amblin movies. Group of kids getting into and solving a bunch of problems, like they cause a lot of the problems that they themselves wind up having to solve, especially the inciting incident that gets them lost in what seems like the unknown regions. Because one of the big differences with this series is that it's going to a new part of space in the Star Wars galaxy that they've never visited before, which I believe is meant to be the unknown regions. That's basically where Grand Admiral Thrawn got lost with Ezra Bridger at the end of Star Wars Rebels, where he's returning from during the Ahsoka series in the Mandalorian series. Like, I just did a big Ahsoka trailer video where we saw Grand Admiral Thrawn returning from the unknown regions, and he becomes this big threat, and they're doing a version of the original Thrawn trilogy, Heir to the Empire, in the Star Wars universe during this part of the Mandalorian timeline.
Started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
Skeleton Crew is meant to be a big part of that, but Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who are sort of like the overseers of this entire part of the timeline, they're executive producers on all the different series. They said the Skeleton Crew characters will not cross over on The Mandalorian Season 3. There might be some crossover with the Ahsoka series just because of the overarching connections with the Thrawn plot. It sounds like they wind up getting lost in the same area of space in the unknown regions where Thrawn got lost. But the basic idea is that the little girls, as you see in some of the trailer footage, find something that Gorian Shard's pirates are doing, like they see something that's going down on their way home and wind up running from them. Vane comes back, Gorian Shard comes back. The same group of pirates that we saw in The Mandalorian, Mando and Bo-Katan fighting. They chase them down trying to kill them. In order to escape, they jump the ship and head to the unknown regions without hyperspace coordinates, and it sounds like that's how they get lost, and they basically have to find their way back home, kind of like Star Trek Voyager. If you didn't watch Star Trek Voyager, basically the ship got lost in a completely different part of the galaxy, like a completely different quadrant, and had to slowly make their way home. In the footage they released, you can see the characters staring at a bunch of star charts, trying to make their way home slowly. Jude Law's character is kind of like the David Hopper of the group, trying to take care of the kids while they try to get home, trying to keep them from killing themselves, basically, because they are a group of little kids.
Honestly, I was like 6 years old when this galaxy, this world gripped me, blew my mind, and I feel like I've been in preparation ever since. So it was a breeze. It was a total pleasure. And I think one of the highlights was working with the incredible, talented people behind the scenes when you see the droids and the animals and the aliens. And yeah, it was a true dream come true. I had a wonderful time.
They haven't fully explained what this group does that gets them tied up in the larger Thrawn plot, but it sounds like whatever it is, it happens in the unknown regions. It has something to do with the Imperial remnants. Like, we know Gorian Shard's pirates are connected to the Imperial Remnant. They're going to address that during The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 7, and the Episode 8 finale. Like, they'll tie back into the larger plot. People have been complaining that we don't really know what's going on in The Mandalorian this season. What is the plot about this season? They basically answered that in the last 2 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 3. They're supposed to be pretty big bangers. My full Episode 7 video will post this week after they release it. But it sounds like the little kids witness something that the pirates are doing that has something to do with the Imperial Remnant, with Thrawn. They get lost in the unknown regions. Then while they're lost in the unknown regions, they also find things that connect to the larger Thrawn plot. Like you see them staring at this ancient fragment of a map here with all this writing on it. Most of the trailer footage they released is kind of vague. It doesn't really give you a ton of the story. It just kind of gives you a once-over on the characters, like, this is what everybody looks like. This is kind of the vibe of the series. They probably won't release a longer, proper story trailer till we get much, much closer to the episodes actually coming out. Probably right after the Ahsoka series comes out. The actual trailer starts with a droid teacher in the main character's kids' class. We meet the kids. There are 4 of them. This first one is Ravi Cabot Conyers. They didn't say what the characters' names were. We just saw who the actors were. They jump to a forest shot of 2 of the other characters, the female characters, kids talking to each other, with Kiriana Crater and Ryan Kira Armstrong, who plays the Gwen character. She's meant to be the daughter of Jude Law's character. The only reason why we know her name is Gwen is because Jude Law's character literally says it in the trailer. She questions her friend whether or not she wants to do something more exciting with their lives, like it's really boring on their planet here. The scene is meant to be in the same vein as Luke Skywalker in A New Hope complaining that he'd never find a way off this rock, Tatooine, complaining he never gets to do anything interesting, dreaming of having space adventures. And just like Luke Skywalker gets swept up in the rebellion, the larger galactic civil war against the Empire with Obi-Wan Kenobi, these kids go through something similar, getting swept up in this part of the timeline, but the conflict is against Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Imperial Remnant and Moff Gideon. You see them break into someone's workshop after walking through the forest here. The next scene is at night in another part of the city with Jude Law's character coming home, telling what seems like his daughter Gwen, the footage is kind of janky potato quality, that she needs to be doing her homework, just trying to check on her, looking through their house for her, and they intercut with footage of his daughter Gwen and her friend running through the woods crying out for him like she's running from the pirates. Remember, this is Gorian Shard's group with Vane. And it sounds like the inciting incident that causes them to all jump the ship and into the unknown regions without a map is the girls see something shady the Gorian Shard's men are doing on their way home from their little field trip through the woods, and the pirates come after them and they run. They jump to a scene of their ship flying across an asteroid. This is the main ship during the series. They didn't say what the name of the ship is, but it looks like a totally new design. On the ship, you see the 4 kids and Jude Law's character. You notice that one of the kids is an Ortorlan. That's the same race that Max Rebo was from Jabba's band. They were also featured alive and well during the Book of Boba Fett later in the timeline, playing in the club in the city. There's another scene of the Gwen character getting ready to depart their ship, going to a different planet. This scene seems like their ship at a space dock in another part of the unknown regions they jump to, like a new part of space, wherever this place winds up being. The area they jump to is meant to be somewhere never visited in the Star Wars universe before, which is why I say the unknown regions, like the place where Thrawn basically got lost. There are a bunch of other alien ships docked there. This is Kerry Condon back on the home planet that they actually took off from, playing one of the major characters of the series, telling Tunde Apembe's character, we don't know their names, something is wrong. We don't really know what their connection is to Jude Law's character or the other kids. They might be related to one of the kids. Kerry Condon, also an amazing actress. Some of you might remember her as Iron Man's AI Friday, too.
Left boot jet failing. Flight systems compromised.
This scene is of the kids using the docking mechanism to leave their ship in what is probably them stepping onto the new alien planet in the unknown regions, or one of the new planets they travel to. Notice that there's a droid character behind them. They haven't revealed what the droid's name is or who's playing it, but there's a long-standing tradition in the Star Wars movies and series that everyone has some kind of droid companion, or there are droid main characters. Like on The Mandalorian, he has R5 now, and previously they had IG-11. This is another scene of the Ortorlan character on the ship. This scene is in an office building. The architecture is the same building Kerry Condon's character is in with Tunde, and it's a wider shot of their offices. Not sure what they're actually doing in this office or what they do at the office, but there's another droid watching over them. The voiceover is coming from Tunde telling Kerry Condon's character they need to find the kids, so that's why I say they're probably on the planet that the kids took off from with Jude Law. And it sounds like they'll bounce back and forth between these different locations in the galaxy. Like it won't just follow Jude Law's character and the kids into the unknown regions. You also come back to the regular part of the galaxy where they're from. This scene is just of the kids running through what looks like an alien marketplace on one of the foreign planets that they travel to in the unknown regions, like they're exploring a totally new planet that they've never been to before. Don't touch anything! This is Vane's character coming back from The Mandalorian, Gorian Shard's pirates, picking up a gun off the floor, looking at what seems like the 2 little girls, and it seems like it's connected to that earlier scene in the trailer when Gwen and her friend stumble into the pirates conducting business, and then they chase them down trying to kill them. This is just another scene of Kerry Condon in that same office building. I'm not sure which planet this is, but the scene of the main ship is flying over the city here. Notice that they have a Rex Star Tours droid. There were actually a bunch of them featured on The Mandalorian recently when they went into the droid bar. This seems like one of Gorian Shard's other pirates working with Vane. This scene is a little too potato quality, but it seems like they find a droid that's broken down, deactivated. It might be the same droid that joins them on their mission to make it home. They might just wind up repairing it and it becomes part of their crew. There are a couple other scenes that they released here, like this looks like they find an ancient map fragment, probably wind up using it as part of the information to find their way home, but the information is incomplete. Notice all the symbols on it are written in Arabesh. That's the main language of the Star Wars universe, so you see it written all over the place in the movies and all the series. I can't make out the figures at the bottom of the fragment, but in this other scene, like you see them in the same room with all these maps and star charts strewn out all over the place, it just seems like they try to piece their way back home slowly because there are no good, complete maps of the unknown regions, which is why they can't easily plot a hyperspace route back home. That's also why Thrawn was lost in the unknown regions for the entirety of the original trilogy, why he wasn't around during A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, or Return of the Jedi, because he had no star charts to jump back home. You also notice that Robert Timothy Smith's character here in the motion capture suit, he's playing the Ortorlan character just because this is behind the scenes. They haven't tuned it up in post-production, so you're not seeing the special effects. It looks like Kiriana Cratter's character might be blind and she's wearing an eye prosthetic. It totally looks like it's inspired by Geordi LaForge's visor on Star Trek The Next Generation. This is just a behind-the-scenes shot of them on the volume, but the scene they're filming might be on one of these alien planets just because of the terrain underneath them. This is just a scene of Jude Law between scenes with the kids on the bridge of their new ship with him in the pilot's chair. So like I said, a little bit of Stranger Things mixed with Stand By Me, mixed with a little bit of Star Trek Voyager, like we're lost in an unknown part of the galaxy and we slowly have to make our way home. Because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni said that the characters would not appear on The Mandalorian, I'm not expecting to see a bunch of Easter eggs in the last 2 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 3 for Skeleton Crew. We might see more Easter eggs during Ahsoka, so I will do more Skeleton Crew videos as we get more Easter eggs later this year, more footage. But the larger plan is that because of the Thrawn movie, the Heir to the Empire Star Wars movie that they're doing, where all these Mandoverse shows will cross over, the Skeleton Crew characters, Jude Law's character, the kids, will also cross over with the Mandalorian, with the Ahsoka characters, when they all have their final battle against Thrawn. Dave Filoni confirmed that he's going to be the one that's making that movie. It is based on the Expanded Universe original Thrawn trilogy, which is why I say Heir to the Empire. That's probably going to be the name of the movie. They have a murderer's row of directors' talent working on the series. Like I said, John Watts, one of the executive producers, directed on the series, wrote a lot of the series. They have the Daniels brothers, who just did Everything Everywhere All at Once. Isaac Lee Chung, who just did Minari. Also, he just directed The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3. Sounds like that was a bit of a test run for him. They have Jake Schreier doing some of the episodes. He's doing Marvel's Thunderbolts right now, and he just did Steven Yeun's Beef series. Steven Yeun is going to play the Sentry in the Thunderbolts movie in the MCU. Bryce Dallas Howard is doing an episode, and David Lowery, who just did The Green Knight. So they just have amazing directors working on the series. There were a bunch of other trailers that they released, like a Star Wars Acolyte trailer. I'll do a video for that next. There was an extended Ahsoka trailer with a big Grand Admiral Thrawn reveal too. I'll also do a video for that as well. I just did a much bigger video explaining what the new Star Wars movies are going to be and when that's going to happen. So click here to learn about that, and click here for my brand new Ahsoka trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. This is The Way.